you feel like you are losing your grip, might suffer a trip or abandon ship, open a can of whatever you sip and join the fellowship.
Hi there, welcome to Can You Hear Me Now, our weekly live workshop and chat. If you want to join in the chat, have some questions to ask or indeed answer, I'll be throwing some questions out. Linked in the Google Meet down below is a link that you can link through to. Anyone is welcome to join. I'll take you through some house rules after the workshop before coming on. And we're here every week, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. What I try and do in the workshops is dig out my collection of relics that I've been gathering over the last 30 odd years as a professional media composer, which means I write music for film, TV and games, but also draw people's attention to the fact that you don't really, and excuse my French in advance, fucking need any of this stuff in order to be a great composer, a good media composer, a computer, and then the next thing I'd recommend getting, you can get DAWs for free and all of that kind of stuff. The next thing I'd recommend getting is a microphone. And I'm going to show you the value of what you have around you. Something, I don't know if you've noticed this, something I've noticed when going to charity shops of late is that I think we're really feeling the effects of 20, 30 years of abject materialism, and these charity shops now are having signs saying, please stop leaving stuff. We're going through so much stuff. You walk into these shops and there are old radios and amazing clothes and this, that and the other, and it's something that I would really encourage people to do in order to create that individual sound, is to first look about what's around you before going out and buying the next new thing. I mean, I'm totally guilty as charged. The reason I've kind of decided to do, or we decided to do this, oh, by the way, I'm running this show on my, Simon's downstairs moderating, but I'm running the show on my own today because Alan, our producer, he's away for the second week. And I have definitely made things way more complicated than they should be. So I think things are going to go massively wrong. So apologies in advance for that. But anyway, workshop today is someone mentioned that they had a mini Korg MS-20 and didn't have much use to it and wondered if there's anything I could recommend they do with it other than, sampling it and make, I think that these vintage synths combined with sampling are such a great tool. They're kind of awkward and the tuning can be a bit rough, and you turn one knob and then you turn another knob and the sound disappears. Something that I do is I just run tape whilst I'm fiddling around with these things and hope that some really interesting sounds come up. So that's the first thing. But in the case of the Korg MS-20 and quite a lot of synths, they have basically their own outboard style effects. In the MS-20 is a really interesting low shelf filtery kind of thing. So what I thought I'd do is I'd pull up a beat, put it into the MS-20, or see if I can get the MS-20 to work, but then take it on a step with some other ideas about stuff you can use that you have around you that isn't even musical kit. So what I'm going to do is I've only had time to really brush off the MS-20. It was really, really dusty because I haven't used it for a while. I thought I'd do that, but I haven't actually checked if it's going to switch on. So let's just see how that looks. Okay, so it's on. That's good. The light is blinking, and I'm very, very delighted that these things apparently are built to absolutely last. But basically, this area here is where you have an external input that you can put in here, and it goes into an amplifier, which I definitely want to have some fun with, but also a bandpass filter. It has two knobs next to each other called, it's a low shelf and a high shelf. And basically what I'm going to do is put this beat inside the MS-20 and have a listen to how these filters sound. Now I'm going to let it run, and you'll hear there'll be a little noise, and this noise is really crucial for this kind of work. So let's just see if this is going to go in. Let's have a little look here to see if it's going to work. Yeah, okay, one sec. Okay, need to plug that in there. Sorry, as I mentioned, this is going to be an absolute car crash today. So if you enjoy car crash television or car crash YouTube, now's the time. So here we go. So we're going to get some noise out there. Okay, let's get going. Here we are. So just be mindful of this little noise that you'll hear. So okay. So this is overloading the amplifier, so let's just get it down. So just opened up the high shelf there so you can hear the hi-hat. That was there all along. Okay, what's going on there? Okay, here we go. Nice bit of hum there. Okay. So that's the low or the high shelf, which is cutting the high end out. Okay. God, that hum is something else. I must play what the loop sounds like without this thing. Okay, I'm just going to turn the amp up now. That's an interesting, I mean, it just sounds absolutely phenomenal, that amplifier. So what I'm going to do is before we go back to that, I'm just going to play you what the beat sounded like originally. Hopefully this button is going to show, it's not going to show the thing. I just need to quickly do cancel. Just need to quickly do a little thing. What am I doing? Audio, video capture device. No, it's not that. Oh, cancel. What's going on? Told you it wasn't going to work. Okay, let's just have a look down here. Google Meet. No, it's all Google Meety. So macOS screen capture. Save. Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys. So Logic. Hopefully you're seeing Logic now, and hopefully you're going to hear that too. Let's just go up to that screen. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, I'm blushing with embarrassment. So the sound of the loop before it went into the Korg, which I should have played you before, is this. So classic analog type of affair there. And I think that, even when you just put it into the Korg and you take the amplifier down, you already hear a really I don't know what it's doing to it, but it's like it's kind of compressing it. It's giving it such a gorgeous feel. I'm going to turn this bit down. But this stuff is mental. And that's what I mean about just keeping tapes running and capturing an accident like that. I don't know if it's distorting the Korg a bit, but possibly it's distorting the input of the microphone pre as well. But that to me sounds absolutely gorgeous. That's obviously a bit of vintage, quite valuable kit. But there's so much around you that you can use as outboard that isn't necessarily this pricey vintage collectible stuff. And namely, you know, it's interesting. A number of times I've done videos about stuff like reamping and stuff, and people are like, oh, you know, what do you need to reamp? Do you need this, that, and the other? The fact of the matter is, we've all got Bluetooth speakers of some sort, and we've all got microphones. And this latest iteration of the iPhone has really good microphone. It's interesting. I've been vlogging now for 8 years, and it's amazing to see how camera technology has improved the quality of the microphones. Most noticeable is the DJI Osmo. When I bought the first one, the microphone was just heinous, but now it's pretty incredible. So I don't know if you can see, but basically I've got a Roberts radio, and I was somewhat disappointed when I switched it on earlier that it tells you Bluetooth is on with an American accent. Not that I have anything against American accents, but I always thought Roberts was like a highly British company. So, bit of jingoism there. Live shows, they're so nerve-wracking. So basically what I'm going to try and do now is put that drum beat into the Roberts radio, and I'm simply going to record it using this mic to see how that comes out. So yeah, I've got some sound there. So I'm going to turn this around. I've basically got the track in my phone, which is connected to Bluetooth, and let's just have a listen. I'm just going to put it into record, just in case. Mute everything else. We're not going to get any surprises. Yeah. So here we go. I'm just going to turn the mic around. Apologies for my somewhat puerile drum programming. Let's have a listen to how that turned out. You probably heard it before I did, but it's just going to be interesting to see how the mic responded to that. Right, that's not making much of a noise at all. Let's just output that through stereo output. See. Okay. I'm just going to turn the mic around. Lost something. Here we go. Things are not playing as they should be. Okay, so that should be coming out there. And it's not. So, again, apologies. I've bitten off way more than I can chew here. So that's coming out of that, which is good. Oh, the amp. Sorry, my amp has just crashed. Sorry. Okay, so that's the original, and it just got cured. It's quite a posh amp. Clearly doesn't like the funk. So this is the microphone. So what I love about this, I just love what it's doing. With the snare, it's got that kind of like buckety kind of sound. But I think that we can, obviously, that's through Roberts. It's quite nice sounding. It's not a retro thing. Be really interested to see if I could wire up something retro. But, you know, through a $700-800 microphone. So no surprises there. It's obviously in mono. There's stuff that we can do about that. But I thought I'd take it a step further. And I've already forgotten his name, Simon, but it's not in the inimitable words of John Noakes. It's another Blue Beta presenter. But here's one I made earlier. Right. I think the favourite place for reamping is always the bog. And basically, you don't need any fancy kit. You know, we've all got those Bluetooth speakers. It's not a great sounding bathroom, this. And we've all got these. So basically, I've got it around my neck because I'm a little child who loses it all the time. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect these keys. I'm going to not use voice memos on the phone because that uses like the telephone mic. The thing you need to use with iPhones is the actual movie camera to record your stuff. So now you'll see what I'm doing there and the filth that we have to work in. So, okay, I don't know where the microphones are for this. I'm just going to I'm going to do a bunch of different locations. First close, and I'll shout them out so I know what I'm doing. Okay, Simon, take it away. Okay, now we're going to go far away. Now I'm hearing something really reverberant behind me. So what I'm going to propose is, let's take this down the stairs. The world's worst camera work here. Lou there against the wall to make sure that we're getting total kind of reflections and stuff. It's a really bright sound here, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then I'm going to have the camera as far away as possible. So let's run it, Simon. Okay, now I'm going to go a bit back. Okay, thanks, Simon. Let's get it into computer. It'll also be interesting to see what this thing sounds like as well. So, I've got it in the computer. Let me switch to Logic, and I'm going to just have a playback of that. And I think, because I have heard this already, iPhone here, I think you'll be surprised at how good this sounds. So this it's going to be interesting. We'll talk about that little glitch. That's a Bluetooth glitch there. It's kind of okay. I think that is going to be that would be a useful sound for like filling out the stereo field a bit. But it's this stuff that I think sounds great. And that's further up the stairs. But what's interesting is also the DJI, the Osmo, also. Not quite as rude as the iPhone. So I think I'm just going to stick with the iPhone and show you why there's that little noise. I'm sure some of you have guessed already. Let's start with the mic here. So basically, and I saw someone in the comments already mention like putting these on a parallel signal. What I'm trying to do is get phase alignment between the different microphones, and there's a kind of a hard little click that we had at the beginning, and that's the synchronized stuff, which is probably going to go all tits up when we get to that what's it called glitch, the Bluetooth glitch. So that's the mic there, and then let's have a look at the Korg. Probably not do the scratchy stuff for now. Let's go. Yeah, so right down to kind of sample level. Let's cut that. And then finally we've got two sessions here. We've got the bog session. And again, just let's go like this. And I know I'm switching to Reaper, but the reason why I'm using Logic is I'm also using OBS and YouTube simultaneously, and I think using a DAW that I really am not that comfortable with would be now this is interesting. Now this is where you can see the slowness of the speed of sound. That is the distance between the two microphones on an iPhone. Just goes to show sound moves really slowly. But what we like about that is that's what gives us the fat sound. Now, if you imagine a crowd of people clapping, if it was all tightened, so it was phase aligned, it would just sound like a sudden crack. Whereas when there's a crowd of people clapping together, it's ha, and that's what gives us that beautiful width. So let's chop out all of the waffle of me chatting and go to the next little sync click here. And again, you want something that has a really high kind of first transient. This is because it's so far away. It was a little bit quiet. But I think, again, look, that's the distance between the two microphones on an iPhone. Which you can see speed of sound. Now, it's going to sound like a whole holy mess. But let's just try and synchronize this all together with the original. And the microphone there. Shall I just switch it on? Everything together? Why not? So let's have a go here. Turn your speakers down. Why is that there? There. Again, looks like a bit of an interesting... Or is that me just like doing something that isn't the... Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, it's just me making a mess. Okay, so here we go. Should now synchronize in a way that's more behaved. So, oh cool, here we go. Speakers down. Tight. Fine. See, what is happening here, I think, is a little bit of Bluetooth drift. It does all sorts of magical stuff. So what I'm going to just try and do is just have a listen to... Let's have a listen to these two first. So this is the Roberts Radio close mic'd. Tight. Which is great. That you can still hear the phase kind of shifting. So there's all sorts of interesting jiggery pokery going on with Bluetooth. You see, that's going to be tight because that's just an electronic rendition into the Korg. And then where's the original? It's that one. Let's have a listen to this. This is going to be a car crash. Okay, so let's move. This is the bog, aka the bathroom, water closet. You'd hear it shifting. But I think that's really pretty cool. Let me just undo a few steps because I think I just lost my way a little bit. Oh no, yeah. So that's, yeah. Let's go back there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take a few little bits, little kind of choice that I like, and just try and create something kind of fresh sounding out of this. Do I like that, or I love the sound of that snare. I think that's way cool. So let's take that and then maybe the kick off the front of this. Just that one will do nicely. Thank you very much for asking. I don't think I need to worry about hi-hats for now. Okay, we've got the snare there. And what are we looking at up here? So we've got the Korg and we've got the mic. I really like the kind of the bassiness of the snare on these. But let's have a listen to the hi-hat. So I'm just going to take a bit of that, and again, I'm not going to worry about the hi-hats. And then finally, let's have a listen to the Korg and just see if we can maybe get some stuff out of this. Okay, close your ears. And I think the thing I wanted to say is, talking about, getting your own original sounds. What better way of creating something that is unique to you than the actual environment you live or work in? There's no copying it. And whilst reverbs are good, there is, I think, nothing that beats the real thing. And you have to remember that just like any other plugins, these reverbs are curated and cured, and they're made to a certain taste which may not be yours. Whereas you have the opportunity, and obviously there's the opportunity to ping stuff as well. I'm actually going to use an event thing there just to whack it down. Otherwise I could get lost. These things are little slithers. Why don't I start with this? No, let's not start with that. That's the fun bit. That's my suggestion, is that these things are, use a thing called split silence. Just kill the pre-attack time. So, talking and programming and live podcasting, that's a new thing. Okay, so let's just get this across a few snares. And what I'm going to do is just be a little bit selective about how I'm dealing with this beat. And I think I'll probably just take it down to a couple of bars just to make life more manageable. And yeah, let's just pull these over. Sorry, guys. And as I mentioned before, if you want to talk about what we've been up to, and I'd really love to talk to you about different things that you've done with like microphones in your place of work or home, and surprises that you've had in putting a microphone in your B-day or whatever. So let's have a listen to this. Okay, I think that is really good. And what I'm going to do is just lay that up there. Okay, let's not do that. No overlap. And let's snap 2 beats. Okay, let's just keep this at this thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to it's interesting. It's kind of phasing. I think that's the mono of the Roberts there. So let's introduce these as well. And again, let's just cut it nice and tight and put it to 5. Thing as well, big old kick drum. Right, cool. Duplicate that. I'm going to bring that in just there and have that there. You're really coming in flamnacious there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring that up. What's going on there? Why does that sound like that? So let's go like this and like that. Automate that so it's behaving itself. Let's have a listen to what's going on. Whoa. is it? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the beat there and then just copy that there. Right, bit of distortion on this thumper here, not channel EQ, and I'm going to put it over to you guys to talk about in a sec about stuff that you get up to in your... Oh, yes, that'll do it. I don't like that on that beat. Maybe a double beat. I think these could be so much more impressive. Right, let's just make this go mental with some reverberation. And I think that what we should do is go gate-nacious. Deep-seated, micro-gated with the notch gate for drums. Let's use that. But we need to be louder, surely. And maybe a spreader to make it really wide. That's nice. Bit of fun here. And then maybe just a bit of spice on the original drums to create something, hopefully, just sonically, I mean, not from a programming point of view, not particularly brilliant, but sonically, I think, a little bit interesting. Let's do something about those hi-hats. we go. Right, that's quite enough of that messing around. Anyway, just hopefully a little bit of kind of inspiration for just using what you have around you. And that, I guess, is my question of the day to you. What things do you use around you when you're, maybe looking for a bit of inspiration, and maybe things that you're thinking about using, and maybe can play us your results. I hope this has been, well, I don't know. I mean, the programming's not all that, but I hope it's been a bit inspiring to think about the things that you have around you, whether it be a TV set or an old radio or, a Bluetooth little thing. These microphones, they're good, and there's all sorts of stuff, potential that surrounds you, I'm sure. So in a moment, I'm going to invite everyone on to the Google Meet, which is linked in the video description down below. Just a couple of bits to talk about. If you want to get in early on a challenge, if you go to our hub page on crowhillcompany.com, there's a little sneak peek of what the next challenge is, and it's got a rude word in it. We're going to officially launch it next week, where I'm going to talk about, and as part of the live workshop, hopefully do something that's compositionally a little bit more sound than that terrible piece of programming. I'm going to talk about how I cope with the theme of the challenge, which is, again, excuse my French, copy the fucking temp. Something that we hear all too often as composers. So that's something to check out. Also, little secret, there may be something new on the Crow Hill website. Be very interested to see what you think of it, including a new video that hasn't been listed on the YouTube channel yet. If you want to get in there early, put your comments down, tell me what you think. Let's see who can be the first composer in action to use this thing, which features, dare I say it, an innovation that I've come up with called shepherd mapping. Anyway, time to invite you guys on. Whilst I'm doing a little bit of house meaty stuff, I've actually got to switch my screen on. Now, this should be a helpful reminder that this isn't just a little friendly Google Meet. This is going live on YouTube, which basically means there's a certain decorum required of all of us. With that in mind, there's just a couple of things that we just have to point out. What we love people to do is to mute their microphones, because there's all sorts of feedback issues that can happen. There's a little hand signal. Just put your hand up and I get a little cue that appears. Now, I know sometimes I don't go in order. That is often because maybe it's someone who hasn't spoken before, or hasn't spoken before that session, or we've not seen before, so we want to have an introduction. I've never made any. I've never hidden my desire as a father of 3 with 2 daughters. I've never hidden my passionate resolve in letting women have a voice and opening up the bandwidth to these somewhat male-dominated areas. So, if I suddenly go to a Mandy or an Ellery, or I saw there was a Rachel who spotted a bit of a pea splatter on the loo. Sorry about that, Rachel. That's the reason why. But I think that it's really crucial to understand that if you do speak over people, because this is live going to YouTube, we just have to drop you out of Google Meet. It's not meant as any offense. It's not like, you're barred. We're not slinging you out of the saloon. It's just, we can't have people kind of interrupting and all of that kind of stuff. So, particularly when there's a larger group, be mindful of your time. And if you can, try and keep it on subject. That makes it that much more digestible for people who watch the live show after live show. And that is between, these days, 2,000 and 20,000 people. So you've got to understand that we've got to try not to be I don't know. We've just got to be kind of polite and all of that kind of stuff. Respect each other's time. Right, Mr. Simon, I hope you're still there, and we can hand over to the Fellowship of the Ring Pull. How are we doing? Good to see you all. Adam, how are you? So, I mean, I have to. You never know with these live workshops whether it's going to sound any good or not. I think some of the sounds were interesting. The programming left a lot to be desired, but it's amazing what these iPhones, the microphones they have in them, what you can do with them. And I see you're wrestling a microphone, Adam.
Only a little stand, and yeah. I'm glad I've got my my monitors, and I wasn't running that through my old setup, because I think I would have blown everything with the volume levels. But I felt the glow from your forehead from here, and I feel it. It must have been stressful for you. So it's definitely gave us some ideas for messing around with ways of recording and then re-recording, playing through different setups and things. It's definitely gave me some ideas.
Good stuff. Yeah.
What was the question? Sorry.
Yeah, it was like if you've ever tried anything like that, or if there's something that you've thought about, like, you know, with this workshop, if there's something that you think, oh, you know, I'm going to try that.
I'm still recording the cranes that I'm operating, and I still haven't figured out a way of putting that together as an instrument. But it's like it sounds bad now, but a drone sort of noise coming from the creaking metal and things like that. But there's got to be more ways I can record different sounds that are coming from these machines, and what uses are there. I think it'd be like a piccolo in the orchestra. It might have one tiny use, and that's about it. But yeah,
sounds fun to me. Just for those of us who haven't maybe visited this before, Adam is I always used to joke that you referred to yourselves as crane pilots, but you're a crane operator.
Yeah, operator, driver, but we get called worse, far worse.
I think there's so much potential with. I mean, are you familiar with like the use of anvils within orchestras?
No.
Yeah, check out. Yeah, no, check out some of that on YouTube and stuff. It's like literally a blacksmith's anvil with a metal hammer, and it's interesting that you mentioned piccolo. You'd think it would be a thump, but it's not. It's a real striking sound that's not dissimilar to a piccolo rip. And I'm sure something like that would be amazing.
When the metal's got a lot of pressure through it, it makes a horrible sound. It's not a pleasant noise. It's anyone who's got mechanical sympathy hears metal grinding or metal really under stress, and it's a scary sound. But I've just had a quick check on your website, and you let it slip a little. I think a couple of weeks ago you said something about Solaris.
Yeah.
And I'm chuffed because that's right up my street.
My weekly name drop. I had the pleasure of having dinner with a group of composers, and I guess I was most fazed by meeting Cliff Martinez because I just rate him so much, and I think he's such a kind of outlier. And I spoke to him actually. I think this could be helpful. I spoke to him about a couple of things, and he talked about speaking to younger composers and talking about, you know, finding your sound. And he goes, you know, Christian, it's really easy. Just find 3 things that have never been put together, and that will be original. So he goes, so take Jimi Hendrix, Johann Sebastian Bach, and like some gamelan music, and it's going to create something. The way you interpret it and the way you meld it together is going to be completely new. But obviously, it's that thing you don't want to kind of go, oh, Cliff, can we just talk about Solaris because it's such a seminal score? But I said to him, you know, what is your proudest work? And he said it has to be Solaris. And I said, what was the story behind? It's a science fiction film set in space in the future. What made you use steel drums from the Caribbean? And I don't know if you know this, Cliff Martinez used to be the drummer in the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So he's a percussionist, and he was on holiday in the Caribbean, and this is before the phone call went for Solaris, which is a remake of the Tarkovsky, very difficult film that to watch. He basically he, as a percussionist, you know, you can always, whenever you're on holiday, you can always pick up another little gizmo and stuff. And basically, he made a personal kind of vow with himself that if he ever bought more percussion instruments, that was fine, provided he had to use it in the next score he was working on. Anyway, he was in the Caribbean, saw this calypso band playing the steel pans, went, I'm a drummer, I'm going to get some of those beautiful tenor drums. Bought a whole kit of steel drums. Gets home, 2 weeks later, Steven Soderbergh rings up and went, how do you feel about a science fiction film? At which point, this is like how he told the anecdote to me. He goes, and I turned and looked at these steel drums and went, oh God. But just goes to show. And I spoke to him about how they didn't sound like steel drums. And what he did is, whilst he was playing them, he muted the upper harmonics, which give it that kind of sound. But a seminal score, but just a real example of restricting your resources, but also giving yourself something that you really need to be creative about, to use to justify a purchase.
Yeah, no, that the score and me, I can't imagine what it's like meeting the guy, but yeah, what an interesting odd approach to everything I think he's done. I'm looking forward to it. Really am. Don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll probably break his speakers with it anyway.
During the pandemic, I rang him up because everyone didn't know where their next piece of bread and butter was going to come from. So I thought, it was an opportunity to see if people want to maybe like do some sampling, during downtime. So I got Cliff's number and I rang him up and I said, I was thinking if you consider like doing a sample library. It was with another sample company I was working with at the time. A sample library. He went, do you mean my Solaris steel pans? And I went, yeah. And I quote him verbatim. He went, and why the fuck would I do that?
Yeah, and was it last week we was talking about instruments and people finding their sound, and you don't want to hand that over, do you?
No, you don't want to hand that over. Lonnie's been waiting very patiently to speak.
Well, that's good. It's a great discussion. I'm a late bloomer with learning how to sample. Yesterday, I watched a bunch of videos on Jacob Collier. If you all are familiar with him, obviously, I just discovered him, and it's very, on topic with what you're talking about, experimentation, just extreme experimentation. And this guy is sort of ADHD on it. He's amazing. I was very interested, the Dune movie and the Arabic sound. So I was, learning a little bit about the harmonic minor and the double harmonic minor chords and things like that, and try to get that sound using a drone note in the background. And I thought, well, how could I simulate like a duduk instrument using my electric guitar slide? And so what I started experimenting with, I put some compression on it before it went into the instrument, into my recorder. And I took the slide on the edge of the strings, and I was able to do this, if you can imagine the frets being rubbed with the slide and give it sort of a kind of a thing. I was able to utilize the scales off of the first two strings right there and create some really interesting textures and sounds that made it sound like a duduk kind of, and it, just a timing thing. So I was experimenting with that, and it was really a whole bunch of fun. But while you were talking about the sampling some of the cranes, of course, just to let you know, my father was a crane operator out in California, and he had the opportunity to do some movie stunts with cranes, but he only had one eye, but he was like one of the most popular choices for crane operators, so I guess it was a really good eye. But while you were talking about that, my wife has a dog bed that she wants me to fix. It's a steel bed frame that the dogs had crushed one of the legs. So I bought a small welder, and I was out there grinding on it yesterday. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if I could you know, the different types of metals, and as you're grinding and getting that weird sound from the metal blade, if you could take some of that and record some of that. And then I was thinking to myself, the crackling sound of the actual welding process itself, if I could record some of that, I might be able to utilize some of that. Anyway, so it's just an idea.
Great ideas, Lonnie. And just something I'd really recommend is record them at 96K, because the sounds that you're describing, you're really going to want to pitch down a lot, like a couple of octaves. If you record them at 96K, you won't get that kind of that stuff that happens with the top end, where you actually start hearing the samples.
Yep, we'll do. We'll give it a try.
Excellent stuff. Mandy, how are you? You all right? I'm seeing a very active Instagram. You seem to be making music and singing and dancing.
When am I not doing those things? Well, no, today was eventful because some rabbits chewed the cords in my Explorer, so I had to get it towed away. And so the rabbits, they're bad. They get in the engine and then they chew the cords. And so we put like animal repellent pads in there, but then they just went into the middle and they made a bed and acorns everywhere. And so, yeah, so anyway, just dealing with that, but that's all right. So how's everything in Scotland? Amazing.
Yeah, it's all good. I thought the rabbits, I thought it was like a metaphor for something musical. They chewed your chords. It was like, what's chewing? Is that a Texan thing? I just chewed up those chords.
That's a good one. I'm going to chew your cords out. Yeah, no, it actually was rabbits that lived in the car engine and chewed the cords. So good times.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it. Yeah, things are good. Good here. We're really busy. We did a release today, which is our first in this. We've built a new engine from scratch, which really simplifies our kind of interface, and also it's the first release of this idea that I've had called shepherd mapping. And if you go to the product, it's called Gong Piano. You can actually watch we're not actually listing the walkthrough on YouTube for another couple of days, but you can watch it early and be interested to see what people think about this new way of sampling using what I call shepherd mapping. So that's been really exciting, and I'm working on a TV at the moment, which is also exciting. I'll be talking about that on the vlog on Sunday. But my lordy, and I don't want to draw anyone on this discussion, it's pretty mental here at the moment with the news and stuff, and the fact that I don't know. We don't know if we're going to be a monarchy anymore. It's terrifying. So that's actually what's taking up a lot of the conversation. I don't know if you agree with that, Adam. Not that I want to draw you on it, but do you know what I mean?
The world has just absolutely gone bananas. I don't know. There's no what is it? No horizon. There's no sort of like point of reference. You could just go, that's still right. That still works. Everything seems to be going. Yeah.
They call it the Overton. They call it the Overton window. I don't know if you've heard of this.
I'm hearing that phrase far too much lately.
Yeah, that's because it's moving so much.
It's awful. By the way, your father with one eye. A lot of people I work with would suggest that all crane drivers was blinded at birth. They would quite like crane drivers not to be able to see anything and just hear what's being directed to them. So I imagine they loved him. I imagine he was really favoured. Yeah, just like, a little going off on a tangent there.
It's like piano tuners. A lot of piano tuners are blind as well, because I guess you learn to use your senses, your other senses, more and stuff. So, Elliot, how are you?
Oh, hello. I've been really busy. It's all good stuff, but yeah, it's I've not been able to take part in this for a few weeks. But yeah, no, it's all going quite well, I suppose.
Are you working on
kind of stress?
Are you working on anything exciting?
It's more just like showreel stuff and like getting my website finally made. There's lots of things that have finally kind of like come together to be like I'm ready to kind of like move forward with myself as like a composer and put myself out there. And yeah, it's really good, really positive stuff. But it's also falling around the time that I'm selling my flat and buying a house, and it's all just like come at the same time. But no, yeah, I'm doing really well. How about you? How's the warehouse thing going that you're looking at for the new premises?
I think that we're going to be getting the keys in the next couple of weeks, and I've been stumbling across a few things that have really inspired me. One is there's a brilliant YouTube. I'll for people who are watching this not live, I'll stick it in the video description. It's the Architectural Digest YouTube channel has done a brilliant. It came out about 6 months ago. A brilliant long form film about the Tiny Desk concert place. I don't know if you're familiar with Tiny Desk.
I've heard of it. I couldn't give you any details, but the name sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, it's I think that the Tiny Desk. I mean, it is. I would venture one of the most successful regular music performance YouTubes live, and it's had a few artists on who have like insane numbers, like 20s of millions of views and stuff. But it's done very, very simply. It's done just behind a desk in an office. And it's just really interesting to see how that idea has evolved and why it's so successful and stuff. And I think that's a really it's a real inspiration for the space that we want to create, which is not to go in and make it too fancy, make it too rigid. I think that it's about just creating a space that's safe for people to come and experiment, for us to create content, to do live workshops, all of this kind of stuff. We're really outgrowing this space, so I'm really looking forward to getting there. And I'm hoping that these workshops, because it's really odd just sitting here in a room on my own talking, like listening to a really bad beat slowly be formed, looking at the clock.
Oh, that was really good.
Oh, thank you. I thought it's just really, I mean, it's really interesting how, just by like putting something through a Roberts radio and an iPhone, who knew that distortion on that Korg MS-20 is the rudest thing I've ever heard. Apologies.
That was great.
For your speakers.
It reminded me of the Venom challenge you did. We had to go take your phone and record around and finding out the phone microphone versus the camera microphone.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of I literally had to pull up the files just to double check. So it was quite a while ago, but we once recorded a drum kit in a really nice sounding room. Rehearsal space, but wanted it to sound like really trashy. So we literally went and bought metal trash cans and we put them just in front of the drum kit and put SM58 inside.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
It was really good. We were playing around with the positioning of the mics, and we found that if we had the mics in the trash cans pointing at the drum kit, it wasn't that great. But if we had them pointing away from the drum kit, it was like the vibrations were traveling around the trash cans and then vibrating on the other side. And it created like a really kind of like warehouse trashy kind of sound, as if you just put a nice sound like through a 76 and just cranked it a little bit. But it was just straight out of some 58s. Fantastic.
Oh, that's such a good idea. And did you fasten them, or what did you use to?
Duct tape. We literally we tried. They were like wood trash cans. They were like the metal wood burner things you could poke stuff with a hole in the middle. They were like those. So we tried suspending them inside, and then we found it was better just laying on the floor but facing away from the drum kit. And then we found out very quickly we had to tape down the lids on the trash cans, otherwise it was just vibrating to hell. But that was a really fun little experiment we did for recording with drums, and maybe want to try different things of like placing microphones inside of objects inside of a nice sounding space to see the kind of difference you can get.
Yeah. That does sound like an amazing idea. It reminds me of a session I did at it's not called Henson Studios now anymore, is it? It's what's his name has bought it, John Mayer. I did a sample set. Yes, what was a sample session with a drummer, and he stuck a kick drum in front of his other kick drum, and I think you forget that the air has mass, and because he hits his kick drum so hard, it actually plays the air pressure plays the kick drum in front of it, which was
Wow.
pretty incredible. But I guess that's the same principle with you putting these kind of slightly more rigid objects in. It's not just an acoustic thing. There is actually a physical impact of sorts with those drums. That sounds like an absolutely amazing idea. Really, really good. Back to you, Adam.
Hi, Elliot, by the way. Yeah, just because of what you did last week, I went looking at, and you've seen the Korg. Was it a Korg 25? You call it
MS-20. Yeah.
MS-20. Yeah. Well, I went to a music shop. Won't name any names, and they had a Korg SV2.
Right.
It is lovely. Has anyone had a play with one? It's got a little valve amp in it, and everything you were describing about your synths. I just had a quick play with it, and I think I've got to make room somewhere for one of them to go.
Korg are
Really?
one of those companies who are really getting it right, and I think I may have mentioned this when I was at NAMM. I get really frustrated with Casio because Casio, the watches, they've totally got it right. Like most watch collectors will go, you have to have a Casio watch. That'll be $40 in your collection of Philippe Patiks and all of, I don't know, watches, but do you know what I mean? So Casio have got their watches really right. If only they could take a leaf out of Korg's book and re-release some of their vintage stuff. I don't know if have you seen that Casio, I forget what it was called. Was it called the SP1? It was the first household sampler. It was 99 quid, and it was a piece of crap. But it's been used by circuit benders. It's like the number one bit of kit for circuit benders. But Korg, they've really got it right, what they're doing. I think it's absolutely fascinating.
I think I was all set to look at Yamaha's, what do they call it? Their top of the range composer keyboard or something like that. They call it, with all the different music instruments built into it. So I was set to go and have a look at that. Nice big 88 keys. They didn't have one of them there, and I had a look at a Roland. So I had a look at a few different things, and everything I looked at, nothing had the same tactile quality and build as the Korg. That just sort of, it was such a solid build. It wasn't the heaviest thing, but everything about it, like all the keys. That's the weird thing is, like, I had to go over, I can't remember what it's called. It was a weird little Yamaha synth, and that sounded amazing, but I couldn't bring myself to touch that thing every day. It just felt like.
Important.
But it's because I don't know how long I'll get out of my native instruments keyboard. I don't think it's gonna survive forever.
Yeah. I mean, I think I really, where certainly the feel of controller keyboards concerned, I haven't seen an example of price particularly correlating with how good something feels. Certainly where a reality, the thing that I've always been a fan of is the Yamaha. I think it's either a P60 or a P90, and they're like 300 quid. And they, for me, feel like the most realistic keyboards to play. Not stupid weighted, but like an upright piano, not like a grand, maybe. Elliot, over to you.
Yeah, just touching what you were saying, Adam, just because I used to work for a no longer functioning retail store in the synth section. If you're looking for the Yamaha CP88, that had the nicest keyboard I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's like the actually wooden keys in them. They are honestly, if you had a chance to play on one of those, it was really good. And I left just as they redid the kind of the SV range of the Korg stuff. That was kind of cool seeing the little LED come on. I thought the amount of companies that would say it's Valve, when it was just a solid state thing with a little LED inside the valve. But because it glowed, it was like, oh, it must be Valve. But double check the manufacturers. I know Ashdown were very bad for that kind of thing, not mentioning anyone. But yeah, go back to the experimentation, what you were saying, Christian. I remembered a couple of weeks ago, I picked up my old VHS player to put synths through. Turns out VHS is really high quality. It was actually it was really high quality. And then I was doing a lot of researching and found out that the one that I had, it was like a really nice one. And so essentially it was like going through an interface. And so it was like doing stuff inside it before it printed onto the tape to clean itself up. So the only way I found to get a VHS sound off it was to find the oldest tape that I had from parents' collections of tapes and stuff, which had a very funny interview with a previous very famous artist denying certain allegations. You can probably work out who it is. But yeah, finding an old tape that actually like degraded gave that kind of sound. But yeah, I found out that VHS is high quality, and if you want one to have a VHS kind of sound, you have to find a very specific kind of playhead on it called linear audio, I think it was. Otherwise, it's just going to be a really good quality quality unit. So yeah, learnt loads, but also failed successfully. So.
May I recommend you try getting a Sharpie out on the tape itself? Just spool it along, and draw over it. The oxide reacts to Sharpie ink, and it'll go wrong in all sorts of right ways.
Because I did a white noise test. I literally pumped white noise out of my core keyboard that I've got here. So nothing to do with the computer, and yeah, straight into that, and then straight into the VHS tape into interface into Logic, and then just doing straight into Logic, and looked it up on Isotope, and my God, it was bloody close. So I was like, oh, okay.
Interesting.
Failed successfully.
Oh, it's great to experiment, though. Absolutely fantastic. Hi, Jay. How are you?
Ooh, I'm excited. I'm very happy today. Since we're talking gear, apparently, it was just in time. I have to show you the coolest thing I have ever. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah, okay. Oh!
Just delivered, not kidding, 20 minutes ago. This was my grandparents' piano, later my mom's, and now mine. That's part of my inheritance, and I'm cleaning it right now. That's why it's open. But yeah, since we were talking keybeds, I don't think it gets better than a Kawhi, to be honest with you. But
man,
Arturia is really good. Just saying.
Yeah, no, mate. It's no. I find it really moving that to see not only your reaction to the reaction of everyone. We know how amazingly magical these things and unique they are. You know, for your own consumption, I'm sure you're probably going to get when pianos get moved, they really do slip out of tune. But it'll probably be the most out of tune you'll ever get it. So for heaven's sake, really sample it now before you get it all cleaned up.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. Because it won't sound that rough again, and you'll go, damn.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I still have to say for the tuning, it needs some fixing, so it's gonna be expensive. So it's probably gonna stay out of tune for a little bit. I'm gonna bring microphones soon. It just got delivered. Like,
that's fantastic.
Just 20 something. I thought I was not gonna make it because I was overseeing the move and everything.
And
but yeah.
Well, when you go to mic it, what microphones are you going to use?
I only have the Scarlett mic right now, which is the kid mic that comes with the Scarlett.
Yeah.
I do have a friend that might have something fancy that I could borrow.
Yeah.
Pair of
414s if you can borrow those.
Oh, if I could find them here, I would die to get a couple 414s in here. But I have a couple friends that do a lot of live stuff and studio stuff that I might ask if they have something fancy, so they can lend me. If not, I might do a mono pass with the Scarlett. And I was already thinking about a new sample instrument, like a worship piano. You know, like new church, like modern Christian style thing. Yeah. But I was waiting for this to come so I could use this to make it. So yeah,
congratulations, Jay. That's wonderful news. Really, really brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. It's so extraordinary how people are literally just throwing these things away, and like they bear the kind of the history of everyone who's played them and all of the weather and all of that kind of stuff. We sampled a piano in Air Studios, and then decided to go in and do some pickup sessions on the piano. It was about 8 months later, and it was a different season, and it sounded like an entirely different piano. So these things, they're like a wine, they age. And the other thing with pianos is they do eventually die, because the tension on the soundboard disappears. So grab them,
Yeah.
and
This
cherish them.
This one is about 55 to 60 years old, because my grandparents bought it new when my mom was like 3. She's 60 now.
Okay.
Just turned 60 a couple months ago. So this has to be like good 60 years old, because I assume they made it and then they shipped it. A couple years went by when they finally got it. The phone number of the last person that like fixed it and everything has 5 digits. Currently in here we have 8 at the moment, so you can imagine how old that might be.
I'll never forget. I never forget taking a piano off someone's hands it was gonna end up on a tip. So I thought, I'll take it, sample it, and then destroy it. And I destroyed it by dropping it from a crane 1,000 feet up, to prove a very silly point. And I was in Castle Sound Studios sampling it, and I was doing like the really quiet level, and then there was this like buzzy fly, and we got rid of it, and there was another buzzy fly. And I was like, it's really unusual. Castle Sound doesn't tend to have like a fly problem. And then I looked into the piano; it was full of maggots. Ellery enjoyed that. Yeah. Don't store your lunch in a piano and forget about it. Is the rule of the day. Mandy, back to you.
I was just going to comment. That's so cool, Jay. Last year, someone at my church was trying to get rid of a piano, and I didn't want it because I already had 2 pianos, and I'm like, I don't even have a piano. And but they talked me into it, and so they gave it to us. But it's from 1901, and it's one of the original Packard Company pianos. So Packard Company made organs previously, like in the late 1800s, and then they switched to making pianos. And so this piano that I have inside my house, it is so tall and it's super, super heavy, but you open it up and it has all the names of everyone starting in 1901, and then like 1930 signed it and 50 signed it. And so this piano, the sound is just absolutely incredible. I got it tuned, and it was actually stayed in tune with itself pretty well through the move and through the years, but it's still half a step it's still out of tune, which kind of makes a cool sound, but at the same time drives you absolutely crazy. You just have to get over it. But I'll get it tuned up again probably in a year, letting it settle. But there's just nothing cool. Yeah, pianos are just amazing, and I didn't even know the history of this piano until I got it, and I just love it. And so, I'm just so happy for you, Jay. That's awesome.
Yeah,
so,
it really is.
Old pianos rock.
And yeah, I'm so happy about this. This is the highlight of my year so far.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, it's great. Ellery, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. It's been busy. On the topic of pianos, Jay, do you know about Piano Day? Yeah, cool. So Piano Day, you should definitely try and get involved if you can in that. I'm doing something locally, which is very exciting, very nervous about it, but I'm going to try and organize a little Piano Day, piano trail in the village where I live. Find out who all pianos. At the moment, we've got 5 people that are interested in getting involved. So yeah, it's very, very exciting. Hopefully I can tell you guys more about it once it's all finalized, but we're looking to get, I don't know if you know about the Isle of Man, but we have somebody called a lieutenant governor, who is like the person that is the king's representative, or was the queen's representative. And they've got a lovely big piano in their house, it's called Government House. So they are happy to let me use their piano as well as part of this whole thing. So the trail is going to start at a property on the beach. It's going to go off to this like really old little black old church, then to another church, then to the school, then to our home. Some other people are getting involved as well. And then we'll end off at the government's house. So it's going to just be a lovely, lovely experience. I can't wait to share it with you guys once it's all done, but it's going to be a bit wild and crazy, I think.
Yeah, it was it's a day that was organised, I believe, by Neil Fromm, and it's easy to remember because it's the 88th day of the year. It's absolutely awesome. Yeah, I've enjoyed doing some. In fact, Piano Book was launched on Piano Day several years ago, about 6 years ago now, 7 years. Oh, Simon, you can correct me on that. Jay, I've got to wrap it up soon, but just back to you one last time.
Just wanted to tell Ellery about a story because this is really cool. So I had a piano teacher a long time ago, and she somewhere before COVID, I believe, because I was in LA, I didn't see this, but she decided to tour with a vertical piano. She got this moving company which is a moving company that moved my piano actually, to pack the piano, put it in the truck and go on tour. And she visited all the little like towns outside of the city, and they would park the piano in a park for like a day, play, pack it up, move it again in a very crazy way. But also she got it painted by a bunch of artists. So it has like this, the piano now is like a little mural of like local artists, went on tour. It plays weird. Funny enough, I got used to it because I was working with her for a while, and it has one of the notes, I don't remember, a sharp, that's a little too stiff. So when I play things that I learn on that piano on my keyboard, that one note always goes a little too hard, and I was like, why? Turns out it's because her piano has that one stiff key. But yeah, she took it on tour for like 3 months. A vertical piano like this one, same size and everything, on a moving truck. It was ridiculous. It was really cool. Brilliant story.
Well, I'm going to wrap it up there. So just a little recap, and I'm going to put that camera there. I think this will be the last week where I'm running the show myself, and apologies again if the workshop was a bit haphazard. But this is just something I'm working at. Hopefully, going to get better at, and it's about perseverance and challenging yourself, I guess. But I hope that, if nothing else, just gave people some ideas about things that were already lying around: Bluetooth speakers and staircases. Who knew? And these microphones in these cameras and phones now are just absolutely phenomenal. Well worth trying. Before, also just even if you want to drag an amp up your stairs, just trying it on your iPhone first. Anyway, there's some ideas there. If you fancy getting a sneak peek of the challenge that we'll be launching next week, if you go to our hub, there's a page up there already which should tell you all about it. Excuse the swearing, but it's called Copy the Fucking Temp. I'm actually going to do a live workshop next week where I'm going to show you how I would approach copying the fucking temp, and what it is that I listen to, and how it isn't necessarily the music or the instruments, but the effect of the music and the kind of the spiritual impact that it's having, and how to recreate that maybe with something like a glass beaker, which is what we're asking people to do for this challenge. Also, if you fancy trying something new, Crow Hill, first time in about 4 months, I think, we've released something. New engine, new technique of sampling, and I hope you like it. But, to everyone who's joined me today, thank you so much. And I really do appreciate you taking time out to share your stories with me, and lots of love to you all. Take care. Bye.
If you feel like you are losing your grip, might suffer a trip or abandon